Hello and welcome. Now you guys know that we love to test kitchen gadgets. Today we have teamed up with Drio, who have sent us one of their prototype BaristaMaker milk frothers. It doesn't even exist yet. It's a Kickstarter, we'll link down to that downstairs, but essentially they've trusted us, the sort of community, to have a first look and put it to 4 tests, one of which is super foodie.
No pressure on me then. I saw this like 30 seconds ago for the first time. Are you mad?
The question is, can you make barista quality milk foam?
Let's hope it's good then.
First test, we're going to start with dairy milk, so cow milk, and this is full fat, and we're going to put it in the machine, push a button, and see what happens.
Just like that?
The point is, it should all be really clever and automated, we'll see. And then on the front, you can select what type of milk you're using, make sure it's got the cow symbol, what type of foam you're after, and then push go.
Start.
So there's a few options. Thick foam the machine can do, but it's the micro foam that we're going to start with. How do we know if this is any good? What are we looking for in a good milk foam?
It's interesting actually because I have a mid-range bean to cup machine at home, and during the week I only drink black coffee. At the weekends I like a flat white. However, the foaming part of my machine at home,
the steam wand,
it isn't great in that it produces the foam that's a little bit airy. You know when you leave shaving foam out for a little while and then it goes very light, and it kind of does that. So if I'm going to have a flat white, I only have them at the weekends and they're not great. So what interested me about whether this does what it says it does is my ability to serve other people and them be impressed with me via the machine, which is the way I live my entire culinary life. If it helps me look good, I'm all for it.
So I know what you mean when that foam isn't quite right. Essentially, we're looking for 4 things. We're looking for consistency. We're looking for a texture that is silky and velvety.
Velvet was the word I was going to say.
And where the bubbles are so small, they're barely perceptible.
Interesting.
Temperature, something that doesn't scald the proteins, but obviously is warm and hot enough. So somewhere between 60 and 70 degrees Celsius, or 140 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's what the perfect foam is. Interesting.
And the reason being is that heat breaks down the natural lactose in the milk so that it becomes sweeter, simpler sugars. So it should make milk even sweeter. So it should be taste, texture, consistency, and temperature. And if it can do all of that, you should be able to produce barista quality milk foam. I'm like you, I have a steam wand on my coffee machine at home. One thing I hadn't really considered is whilst you can get a similar result, it relies on a lot of practice and technique, but also you are very naturally diluting the milk with water.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because
I hadn't really thought of
spits out steam.
This won't do that.
I mean, I instantly, it's solid. It's nice and brushed stainless steel, which looks good in my kitchen. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't play with any of the settings. I literally just put the milk in and pressed play. So maybe I might need to fiddle around with it, but we'll see, won't we? Okay, well, it looks frothy.
Now, first off, let's just look at the milk foam on its own.
So instantly I thought, oh, that's just hot milk, but you can actually see the layer. Okay, it looks soft. Here it goes. Yes, that's good. That is good. That's really smooth. I mean, I'm not a coffee nor a froth milk expert, but I'm very happy with that result in comparison to what I'm currently getting at home. Like it's different, it is smooth. I don't know whether you've placeboed me into this now, but maybe the milk does taste sweeter. Like it, yeah, I get it. And straight off the bat, it's done its job. You stop watching now, it's done.
And importantly, it needs to be able to blend seamlessly with coffee, and it should give you the perfect consistency for latte art. Now, we can't be trusted with latte art, so we've invited in a professional. So this is Eva from Layers Bakery, a nice local bakery to me. The pastries, the bread and the coffee, all excellent. But you're going to show us how we should be doing latte art.
We'll try, yes.
We've got some freshly frothed milk and some espresso.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to this because I'm going to learn something.
Okay.
But I'm equally not looking forward to it because I'm going to look stupid.
So first of all, in theory, the jug on top has a nice fine tip to it so that you can pour straight from the jug. You don't have to transfer it as perhaps other milk frothers on the market would.
Should we have a look?
Yeah.
That looks lovely.
Yeah.
You can already see that glossy, silky, paint-like milk.
And just to be clear, you've never seen this before?
I've never seen this before. This is the first time we're using it, first time we're testing it.
Great.
But yeah, there's no bubbles on top of it. A few, but you can kind of just give it a big tap like that and get rid of them.
Okay.
And then grab your espresso, get rid of any of that. We like tapping things.
Yeah, great.
Get rid of bubbles here as well. Give that a little swirl, and then you kind of lean your cup to your jug, get that nice base layer of milk into coffee halfway through.
Yep.
And then you come really closer to your cup, lean it down in the middle, and tilt your cup up and through. Look at that texture. That's great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
From here, I can see that's even risen above the surface of the cup.
Yeah, it's really got that like silky velvet kind of look. It's got such a lovely evenness to it. Texture's great. Just the right amount of foam in that, and it's nice and silky and glossy. So, yeah.
I mean, that could have really backfired if that wasn't the answer, but
Sorry.
It's great. I'm really glad to hear it.
We had a textbook definition of what we were looking for, but not knowing microfoam the way that, I mean, how many cups of sort of flat white or latte do you think you've done? Hundreds, thousands, tens of?
Thousands, yeah, definitely. But yeah, this looks lovely. And it's also staying for such a long time. Look, it's just like the foam's just staying really nice and glossy on top.
I'm going to need you to talk me through this
We'll go slow.
as I go.
No pressure, but that was made to look incredibly easy. Your turn, Mike.
God, the beep
The
of
beep.
doom. Okay,
Remember, art comes from within.
give it a swirl.
That's it. Give it a good tap.
And we want the foam to be throughout,
Even.
not just the layer
Yeah.
on the top. Okay, and a little tap of that to
Yeah, and give that a little swirl.
give it a swirl.
Yeah,
Okay.
there we go. Tilt it a little bit more towards your jug. Don't be scared. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, and then from about this height.
I'd come even a bit higher. There we go.
And I go round.
Go around,
just to
mix
fill.
it in nicely, nice even. Try and get that even base. That's it. A little bit more. Perfect. And then you stop, and you come really close to the surface of the coffee.
Okay, what am I doing now?
Bit more in the middle.
Yeah?
That's it. And then you're gonna kind of push it into a coffee, and at the same time lift the cup,
Okay.
pull up,
Yeah.
and then get thin line of milk to pull through into a heart shape.
Okay. So about there.
Yes.
Pour.
Pour. Try and
Tilt.
and keep pouring. Keep it. Hold it right there. There we go. And then up. There we go. That's better than mine.
Oh, looks like a chicken drumstick.
It looks a bit phallic when you turn it around like that. I think I made something repulsive.
An elephant.
Yeah, an
Yes.
elephant. It's an
Yes.
elephant.
It's like when you look at the clouds, you can always find something artistic in it.
Should we do a side-by-side comparison? There we go.
It's not too far off, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I didn't get the dome. Well, thank you so much for lending us your expertise. Cheers. Well, it actually looks better now.
Thank you so much.
Thank
that
you
was
for
test number
having me.
1. On to test number 2.
I have to say, so far so good, except for the fact that I made a knob in front of our guest. So don't make me do any more latte art, otherwise we're gonna have to take this video down.
Practice makes perfect. This time, we know it works with dairy milk. How does it perform with plant-based alternatives? So you've got an oat milk there. We've also got an almond milk. You can use soy milk. It claims to have a smart function that's pre-programmed so that it knows how the proteins and fat ratios in the different milks behave so that you still get a microfoam.
That's interesting.
Whereas in comparison, other non-smart milk frothers on the market just have kind of a one setting for all.
We're going for hot thick foam, half and half, almond milk, oat milk, soy milk, coconut milk, oat milk. Here we go.
Again, it's got the impeller in it, so it's the 3-stage graph. Heat first, spin frantically for the first frothing, and then slow that down, but the impeller literally centrifugal kind of draws the milk into the center and finally chops all those larger bubbles into a micro foam.
Now, in order to be completely fair, are we comparing this to the foam that we've just achieved with the whole milk?
No, so we are still looking for a micro foam, but it's going to behave slightly differently to dairy milk. A lot of baristas say that a barista style oat milk is the closest that you can get to dairy milk in the way it performs.
Okay, so I reckon we test this, we pour it out, and maybe we leave it over to these guys to comment down below whether they think it's worked, because I don't know if I'm qualified.
You know me, I like a formal qualification. The SCA, the Specialty Coffee Association, claim that the senior barista standard is how you score microfoam from a score of 1 to 10.
Nice.
Now, numbers 1 to 5 are unqualified. It's when your microfoam looks dull and the actual bubbles are between 1 and 3 millimeters each. Now, if you've ever had like a really terrible service station coffee out of one of those automatic vending machines and somehow a liquid drink looks dry, you know that dry foam?
Yeah, quite similar to what I get at home. I wouldn't say it's dry, I'd say it's in between.
I would say in that case it's dull, dry and unqualified.
Cheers, mate.
If you move up the scale to between a score of 6 and 8 out of 10, it becomes glossy and wet with a microfoam with bubbles between 1 millimetre and half a millimetre. That's a qualified, pretty good one. But an excellent microfoam, according to the SCA, is when it scores 8 or above, 8 to 10, glossy, wet, and the bubbles are less than half a millimetre wide. As we saw from our first test, and the professional barista, it was hitting that microfoam, glossy, white, barely perceptible bubbles, i.e. a lot less than a millimetre.
Oh, the propeller's kicked in.
No pressure on the art, we can go very Picasso if you want. What we got?
It looks foamy from here.
Glossy?
I think it's glossy. Let's see how it pours.
Please don't make a penis on top of this one.
I'll try really hard. Peppers! I did a heart.
You did a penis on the last one, and this time you've done buttocks.
And now I've done a bum. I need to work on my quantities, but that is good.
It's a bigger cup, bear in mind. It's a much bigger coffee cup.
I mean, what we can say about the foam is it allowed me to make this art. So say what you will.
So what they claim is that this will empower the coffee enthusiast to make artisanal quality milk foam at home with all types of milk.
I mean, it's silky. It provided me the canvas to make something exceptional. So I'll leave it at that.
And I think the SCA would be proud. For those of you who are non-coffee drinkers, should we test number 3?
Yes.
Number 3, we're going to look at cold infusions. So you can also use this to make cold shakes. You can use, so if you use protein powders or equivalent. We've got some of the Blendsmith's blends. So this is a beetroot and ginger latte. But think, matcha latte, turmeric latte, chais, they can all be done with cold infusions too. You just need a couple of tablespoons of the mix and the almond milk in this case, or whatever milk you choose. And you need to take the impeller out and put the other one in.
Oh, it's magnetic.
And this should give us a cold foam, so completely incorporate it into the milk. Just make sure you've set it to cold foam.
Cold, thick foam. Install the disc tip. Already done it, mate. So what are we looking for here then? Because obviously it's not going to impel.
So you're making sure that it's still combining. So it's basically mixing it the same as a blender. It's just another function on there, but it should still be foamed.
I would say that is foamed. It seems to have used less of the technology because it's just combining them, but it looks combined and it's got foamy head. That is stunning. It's a lovely texture. It's done its job.
In between each of these tests, and especially when we've just filled the pitcher
great.
with beetroot, it's important to wash it out. And one thing that makes this different from many other versions of the market is the whole pitcher can be submerged in hot soapy water or put through the dishwasher because there's no mechanical bit in that.
That is actually very useful.
Should we get chefy with some foodie stuff?
Yes! Ebba's food!
Yep. So one restaurant that I worked in, we used to have a pea cappuccino on the menu, and actually the flavour of the cappuccino used to change throughout the seasons based on seasonal veg. It was essentially a fresh vegetable veloute, but with a milk foam on top, often served in a big coffee cup, and it was a good starter appetizer that was lovely and seasonal. This means that you could do food infusions at home.
So we're infusing milk and then turning it into a foam for a dish. Very chefy. Okay, cool. That's interesting.
You say very chefy. The only chefy thing you want to be careful of is to not heat your milk above 60 degrees Celsius, otherwise you start to break down the proteins or denature the proteins. So a very gentle warming, about 50 degrees, with, in this case, garlic and hard herbs. And then you can strain that off, froth it up as normal, and put it over, in this case, a chilled pea veloute, and or a nice slow cooked bit of salmon with some fresh seasonal veg. We've infused it for you, so strain that into your pitcher just to get rid of the lumps and bumps.
So what do you reckon, foam-wise?
So it's cow milk and probably a hot, thick foam, or you can set it to the cappuccino setting.
Here we go.
And in theory, at this point, you are limited only by your own imagination. So if you think about the beetroot one we did, it had star anise and black pepper and cinnamon, along with the beetroot and ginger. But you can put any number of spices in here to infuse your milk, some chili. You can definitely season it up with salt and black pepper. You can put turmeric or smoked paprika through it so that it starts to colour the milk. Alternatively, you could put a little bit of sugar and vanilla in it and make a sweet milk foam, which is absolutely delicious, just served with cookies. Cookies and milk on a whole nother level.
How would I do this without a foaming machine? Like how would I create foam in a kitchen without that?
So if you haven't got something like a steam wand on a coffee machine, you need to heat it up and then agitate it. So you can whisk it by hand or put it in a blender and you'll always get a bit of foam come to the top, but you're not going to get that micro foam where essentially those big bubbles are being forced in on the impeller into itself to form a micro foam. But even just a stick blender would give you a foam, it wouldn't be a micro foam.
Cappuccino foam.
Now this time you should just be able to spoon your foam onto your chilled pea veloute, garnish obviously with a sprig of mint and the same infused milk foam, although you could use multiple onto your salmon.
Look at that, you'd never know. Oh, do I have to put a sprig of mint on it?
And a crack of black pepper.
Can I? Oh, I feel so dirty. Oh my goodness, look at that. Chefy. The foam looks great, that looks rubbish because of me. That looks amazing, also because of me, and because you gave me better instructions. Very excited for this, Ebbers.
I'm going to be honest, this is very much our sorted take. This is not what Drio claim it's for. This is to make you a top barista at home, but a chefy twist.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. How's the pea veloute made?
Lots of lovely fresh peas, sweated onion and garlic, super smooth, well seasoned, and it is that silky, glossy milk finish that gives you the mouthfeel that's wonderful, with that slightly garlicky, herby end.
Oh, great, yeah.
Likewise, it can even work on kind of chicken and roasted vegetable dishes where you're adding a creamy but milky sauce that's lighter, but it still has that mouthfeel of microfoam.
Absolutely fantastic. But let's get into the nitty gritty. How much is it?
At the time of filming, the Kickstarter is $99.99, but all the details you can check out on the Kickstarter. If it's piqued your interest, go and take a look.
So we did a little bit of looking in downtime at some other prices for milk frothers, which range from $120 all the way up to $200 plus. For me, it froths milk really, really well. It's silky. I think it's good. We had an impartial barista come in who also said the milk foam was good quality. It absolutely does what it claims to do. And if you can spend $100 on that and you're looking for that result, I can't argue that it does all of those things and it was really easy to use. It's not one of those things that you had to just start using, get familiar with it to get the results you were looking for. It was a couple of buttons and done. So for me, I think it's really cool.
For me, I know a good flat white when I have one, that mouthfeel. But a couple of weeks ago, before we started to do the deep dive on the science of what a milk foam is and what you're looking for and how to achieve it, Now I understand what that machine is doing, and it's still doing it at the click of a button. Over to you guys. What do you think about it? And if it has piqued your interest, then go and check out the Kickstarter. The link will be in the description box. And of course, thank you to Drio for trusting us with their prototype. It's always wonderful to get our hands on new kitchen gadgets.